From this distance, I really can't tell.
I wonder if it is her.
Well, could be. I'd say we'll know when she gets a bit closer and ask her a few questions.
It's my sister, actually.
Does look familiar.
Yeah?
Well, I come here lots.
Do you?
And I just have the feeling I've seen this lady.
Yeah.
Mummy, would you ever leave us? And she said, of course. Of course. And she said, don't be so silly. And she never finished tucking me in, you know, and she walked out the door so fast. And the next day that was it.
Today, Diana Kazzy is feeling confident that after 9 years of searching, she may have finally found Tale Pless.
OK, and there's also another missing person.
Gary Melchiori has a land and sea search to organise.
There's a person missing a boat capsize off Dangar Island.
He's only too aware that time is running out. But amongst the dozens of people reported missing on the weekend, one case stands out.
Also got a 21-year-old female reported by her husband.
Julianne Price, a young mother of 4 who has simply disappeared. The case of Julianne Price is today's priority for Senior Constable Vanessa Rolfe.
Oh, the missing person's mobile's in the event. That's the only
Julianne's 4 children are all under 6. She's been missing from Wollongong for almost a week, but her disappearance has only just been reported to police.
There's no listing for the address at Taraji.
The Missing Persons Unit has very little information to work with, and it's not helped by the fact that Julianne's husband, Damien, has no telephone. So for Vanessa, it's a 1.5 hour drive just to find him on the outskirts of Wollongong.
Hello. You Damien? Vanessa Rolfe. Spoke to you on the phone earlier?
My wife has, just completely taken off for like 7 days, 6 days. This is the 6th day she's gone missing.
Husband Damien has his hands full, consoling baby Holly, who can't understand why Mummy is gone.
I haven't slept. I'm up till 1 o'clock in the morning, looking out the windows for her, and my stomach's in knots. I can't eat. I haven't been able to eat properly.
It's not the first time Julianne has spent a night away from home either. But for 6 days now, her family have been ringing her mobile non-stop, and it continually rings out.
It's just the not knowing what's going to happen next. I can't understand why she would do this, though. I mean, she's got 2 beautiful kids here. I mean, I haven't heard nothing from her, and she just hasn't bothered to, to come and see how the kids are. I love them to bits,
Hi, it's Constable Diana Kazzy from the
Back at the Missing Persons Unit, Diana Kazzy and Darren Connerbeer continue their search for Tale Pless.
Look at her nose.
After fresh sightings of Tale last week, police believe there could be a breakthrough in this 9-year-old case.
It all depends what story you
After publishing her photo nationwide, Diana and Darren worked their way through each new lead one by one.
Yeah. Is she working good?
No, we don't believe so.
A process full of pain and hope for Tale's brother, Richard, who's never stopped looking for her.
We just want to know that she's safe, she's sound. It's a big world, for God's sake. There could be so many things going on. See that lady over there? It looks just like Tale.
Today, some fantastic news for the Missing Persons Unit. An anonymous caller claims that Tale Pless has assumed a new identity and that they've not only seen her, but know where she is. So they give police her name, address and phone number.
It's either one of the most coincidental things we've come across, or it's going to be her.
It's the very break they've been waiting so long for.
We're going to go to there and conduct some inquiries with her and hopefully find out whether or not it is one and the same.
Back in Wollongong, on the trail of young mother Julianne Price, the Missing Persons Unit is off to question her mother, Teresa, the last person known to have seen Julianne 6 days ago.
She's married, she's got 4 kids. She was here last Wednesday, but nobody's seen her since.
Do you have a photo?
Robert, get the wedding photo off the wall, will ya? It's the only time my daughter looks absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, old Patrick's. I think that's Julianne. And that's Damien. Damien's the father of the little girl he's got there. And I don't know, Joshua, I think's Darren's, but Damien brings him up. And Darren's got Kyle and Travis. She's got 4 altogether. She's only 21.
I'm assuming.
In the Tale Pless case, Darren and Diana are about to arrive at the workplace of the person they believe may be Tale.
So it's going to be interesting. So as I said, there's so many coincidences. It'll be interesting.
The information, given by an anonymous caller, seems a perfect match to their missing person. Age, height, weight, features, and using the unusual first name, Tale.
You can do the introductions to her, and then we'll go from there. Well, this is going to be interesting.
9 years of searching have come down to this one moment.
From this distance, I really can't tell. She's skinny enough to be her.
I wonder if it is her.
Well, could be. I'd say we'll know when she gets a bit closer and ask her a few questions.
She's done it before.
In Wollongong, Teresa Price is getting more and more anxious about the disappearance of her daughter, Julianne.
She was here last Wednesday, but nobody's seen her since. I hope nothing's happened to her this time. Has Julianne shut up? No, she hasn't shut up. I know what she's doing.
Does that look like her?
It's very similar to her.
Yeah, just introduce us.
Hi, Tale. Diana, how you going? Finally, nice to put a name to the face. This is Darren.
Charlie, how you going?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
Thank you.
So you know why we're here?
I do, yes.
Okay. Well, what we've got a report of is a missing person back in 1996, Tale Pless. And I believe you're Tale Pickering.
That's correct.
What a good coincidence. That's the picture we've got of her there.
Yes.
What we intend to do is just ask you a few questions.
Sure.
And make some investigations from there. What we'd also be looking at, and this is entirely up to you, whether or not you'd be willing to supply us with a voluntary DNA sample.
Because she's been running away since she was about 10-year-old.
Oh,
My husband and I spent a fortune on petrol looking for her all the time.
Teresa last spoke with her daughter almost a week ago, and Julianne told her then she was getting back with her ex-boyfriend, Darren.
What did she say to you?
Well, I said, where are you, Julianne? And she said she's at Darren's. And I said, well, go home.
If she is at Darren's, it's certainly bad news for her husband, Damien, but it's also case closed for the missing persons unit.
She's got 4 kids and she's got to settle down there.
Because of its sensitive nature, Tale Pickering asked police if they could continue their questioning in a nearby park, away from her work.
Well, as I said, I'll just again explain why we've got you dragged out here today. An anonymous caller contacted our Crime Stoppers unit and they thought you might have been the one for us. I'll just start by asking you a few questions.
Sure.
Your next of kin, what's your mother's name?
It's now been 7 days, and in their pursuit of mother of 4, Julianne Price, police turn up unannounced at the home of her ex-boyfriend, Darren.
She pisses off and then, of course, yeah, she's using me as an excuse while her husband thinks she's here. I'm not going to be responsible. I'm not going to cover for her. She ain't here. She was here. She left, so you deal with it yourself. So.
Darren is the father of 2 of Julianne's toddlers, Travis, 4, and Kylie, who's 5. Disappointed that their mum promised to visit them 6 days ago and never turned up.
I don't care what you're doing with yourself, your friends, your husband, whatever. Just stop telling them that you're coming over and then you don't turn up.
So you haven't heard from her
Since Wednesday. I tell you, she's a regular time-outer. I'm a useless help because all I could tell you is, well, if you want to delve into the background, yeah, she could be in Blacktown, Penrith, Liverpool, you name the area, she knows someone where she can go and get a bit funky.
Where were you born?
Balmain.
Diana and Darren soon realise questions alone are not going to resolve whether this woman is Tale Pless.
Have you got your driver's licence there by any chance, Taylor, as well? Get some details.
But she's still the best hope yet of ending her brother, Richard's 9-year nightmare.
I'll stop and I'll actually stare at somebody, and they must think I'm a stalker or something. I'm not. But I'll actually stop and stare at somebody for a couple of seconds and just say, is that Tale? Scared to even go up to them. Like, that's the other thing. I'm just scared, you know? What do you do? What if she is so upset with me or Mum or Dad or anyone that even us getting close to her and saying hello or something might scare her off again? We don't do that. So all I'm asking is that if she's around, we know she's okay. That's all I'm asking.
What we'd like to do, if you're willing to do so, is provide us with a DNA sample today that we can do for a comparison against this missing person.
For Richard and his family, only this DNA test will prove conclusively whether this is Tale Pickering or Tale Pless.
Just rub it and make sure you can get as much moisture as you can, and then place it back into. Just give it back to me, and I'll place it back into here. It's like sucking on a lollipop.
Okay.
Yep, thank you for that.
Back at the Missing Persons Unit, another new case has the office scrambling. Gary Melchiori takes an urgent call.
Have you got an address for this missing person? What were the conditions like?
Michael Varon was reported missing last night after falling from a dinghy into the freezing waters of the Hawkesbury River.
Okay, 11:45.
And hasn't been seen since.
Have you found a next of kin for this missing person yet? No
With
worries.
the clock
If you need
ticking,
any further
Gary
assistance,
begins tracking down Michael's
Okay,
family.
bye.
Hi guys, hiya.
Meanwhile, at the scene, Inspector Pauline Bellamore coordinates the land and sea search.
We actually, at this present moment, have the police divers out there with Launch Brooklyn, and they are doing a search of the area where the missing person was last seen. We also have a number of police who are actually combing the actual shore areas of both Danga Island and Long Island. So that was where the missing person was last seen about 12:15 this morning.
We've got that, we've got a date of birth, we've got the registration.
Diana is confident she and her partner have found Tale Pless, but Darren isn't so sure. And while they wait for the DNA results, fresh leads keep pouring in.
An informant who rang up Crime Stoppers in relation to...
The latest is that Tale Pless has been seen living amongst the homeless in the city.
You want to be with us?
Okay, then we'll chase that up.
Cool.
See what happens Thursday.
Okay, guys, what we'll do, we'll start searching again now, and what I might get you to do is extend our search area a bit wider.
Meanwhile, at search headquarters, with hundreds of kilometres of bushland surrounding the river, there's every hope that Michael Varon somehow made it to shore and is lost in the bush.
I could hear someone yelling out help, and they were very panicky at that point in time. That's when I decided to jump out of bed.
Steve Moxham was first on the scene.
I could see a figure at the bow of the blue yacht out here, and my neighbour was on his way out already to pick that fellow up. He said there's another one in the water. His name is Michael, and he's not a good swimmer. We weren't sure whether he was still swimming or whether he had gone under or what.
Moxham knows the dangers of these waters better than most, and time is running out. Hyde Park and St Mary's Cathedral in the heart of Sydney. Diana and Darren are meeting council worker Nathan Gray, who's called the Missing Persons Unit after seeing Tale's missing poster.
How are you?
Well, thanks. Thanks for coming along, mate. Obviously, you know why we're here.
Yeah.
Trying to track down Tale Pless.
Yep.
Missing person. You reckon you've seen her in the park?
Yeah.
Yeah, when was the last time you think you saw her?
Well, actually, the last time I saw her was just next to the toilets over there at opposite the cathedral.
How long ago?
Probably, it was on the last council flower show.
How confident are you that it's her?
Have to be 99, 100%.
Think so?
Yeah.
News that Tale may be living in Hyde Park makes perfect sense to Tale's brother, Richard. Some of Tale's happiest times have been spent here.
This is definitely a place that Dad would come to and would bring Tale. Tale is very culturally aware. She loved the Australian Museum, the art gallery, the church, surrounded by the parklands. Definitely Hyde Park is that type of place that the Tale that I know, would go.
In the search for man overboard, Michael Varon, police divers are working their way up the river.
Service to both divers, move to the shot and begin your circular jackstay search. Copy.
Copy that. Moving to the shot.
That launch has been utilised. The line is attached to the divers, and the divers are utilising that to be taken in the direction in which they need to go.
If we've got visibility, we're looking for a body shape. They do stand out rather well. It's not nice, but somebody has to do it, and somebody has to return that person and bring him back and put a bit of finality to it.
Copy that. One call. Left bottom.
We've had a couple of leads on this girl so far, and everyone that sees us. You never ever saw where she'd wander off to or anything?
Yeah, well, actually, you see the like that statue down there?
Yep.
Well, they used to hang around sort of just in behind there. Just in under those trees down there.
Knock, knock. Anyone home?
There's blankets in the sleeping bag there. It might be worthwhile coming back and seeing if someone comes back here tonight.
On the Hawkesbury River, it's the second day of the search for Michael Varon. Police have finally located his parents and sister, and they too have arrived on the scene.
I mean, last night I stayed at my mum's. I even slept in his room because I just thought he's here. It's always easier when you sort of see other people going. It doesn't affect you, but when you go through it, you exactly know what pain other people go through. They're still searching Michael. I feel comfortable here, just being out here. It just makes me feel I'm close to him.
In Wollongong, 8 days after she was reported missing, mother of 4, Julianne Price, has finally turned up.
Well, what happened was Damien started calling me an S-word and we had a big fight, and I just packed my shit up and I just left. I couldn't handle it no more, and I went to Heath's, the bloke I'm with now.
She said she wasn't missing. She did. She said she wasn't missing. She knew where she was. That's her opinion, wasn't it, Julianne? I wasn't missing.
But it's no laughing matter for the police, who are compelled to investigate every reported case.
Some people aren't that grateful that the police get involved in like attempting to locate them. A lot of people don't want to be located. In this scenario, Julianne didn't think that she was missing, so she didn't think that what we were doing was any abuse to her or helpful, or you know, didn't seem to care that there were family members that did have concerns for her safety.
You can see here, these are individual sites that we look at to...
At the forensic laboratory, the DNA results for the woman suspected of being Tale Pless have arrived.
We would expect some sharing of these alleles here. So the mother here is a 14-16. We would expect the offspring to have a 14 or a 16.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and you can see here that there's neither.
It's a disappointment for Diana, but comes as no surprise to Tale Pickering.
Obviously, I knew I wasn't a missing person, but happy to assist to see.
Essentially, Tale Pickering is excluded as being the biological daughter. I blame the police.
So, yeah, I thought it would be quite heartbreaking for the mum, you know, to get the information and then get a phone call later and say, no, sorry, it's not.
So while one avenue of investigation closes, Darren and Diana return to Hyde Park to follow up the information received earlier from council worker Nathan Gray.
3 months ago.
They meet up with Nathan at the soup kitchen as arranged. And now he's not the only one who claims to have seen Tale.
They were sitting down on the grass up there. The face hasn't changed, mate. The hair is the same.
She lost a lot of weight. It was scary. She got down to, it must have been below 30 kilos.
Skinnier, eyes are a bit bigger and that, yeah? Actually, that's what I remembered about her. She looked like she was anorexic, mate.
Great care in her appearance. She was always dressed to the nines, brushed her hair consistently.
It looked like someone was looking after her, to be honest with you, mate, because she was well dressed and that,
She's not in any trouble. She's just listed as a missing person and her mum's trying to find her, so...
Mate, I recognise the face is exactly the same, mate, You've seen her around, mate. Yeah, a few months ago I seen her.
If Tale is living on the street and eating from a food van, it means she's alive. At least I know she's eating, I know she's alive, and that's cool. And to anyone that does help out in that situation, thanks. Doing a great service.
Tale Pless is still missing, but the Missing Persons Unit and her brother now believe they're closer than ever to finding her. But the wait goes on.
Tale or anyone here in Australia or wherever who might see this show, if you see Tale, anyone that resembles Tale's photo, if you might even know her as Tale, for God's sakes, please just call the Missing Persons Unit.
31 over the weekend outstanding, Gary. We've got another one, 45-year-old female reported by her brother.
Later that morning, Gary starts his next case. Geraldine, a 45-year-old mother of 4 who has been missing for 3 months.
I might contact the brother this morning about that. There's one here, he's a 40-year-old male.
Sergeant Jane Sutcliffe is assigned the case of 40-year-old Ronald Bars, reported missing by his wife. 2 days ago, he rode off on his motorbike and didn't come home.
The bike's actually been found in scrub up there on another property. Probably what we need to do is get in contact with the family and sort of find out what's going on. All right then, have a good morning.
For Gary, this is going to be a busy day, with new information just received on last week's suspected drowning on the Hawkesbury River.
Just inquire about this Michael Varong case.
Last week, we saw Gary on the case of 34-year-old Michael Varong.
So they've swam to shore, have they?
Who fell out of a small dinghy while travelling on the Hawkesbury River 8 days earlier.
We'll start searching again now.
A massive 5-day police, land and sea search failed to find any trace of Michael Varong. For his sister Rita, waiting at the scene has been pure torture.
It just makes me feel I'm close to him. I feel comfortable here, just being out here.
But this morning, the news everyone has been hoping would never come. A body has been found in the water.
We got a call over the marine frequency from a fishing trawler.
What time was that? Did they radio it in?
About 35 would have been approximately.
35?
Yep. Who advises of a body in the water.
Yep.
We put him straight into a body bag that was sitting in our litter.
But is it Michael Varong? Locals are quick to tell you this is not the first time a person has fallen overboard and vanished on this stretch of water.
I'm constantly looking at the water, and at night time it sounds horrible, but I'm waiting for a bump, you know, and it's just something you don't want to see or be a part of, really. It certainly wouldn't be very pleasant.
Only a thorough examination by police forensic specialists will confirm whether the body is that of Michael Varon. Back at the Missing Persons Unit, this morning's new case of Cabramatta man Ronald Bars, reported missing by his wife, is causing concern.
We've now got a photograph.
His abandoned motorcycle has been found on a farm outside Armidale in country New South Wales, 2 days after he disappeared.
I'm waiting on the local area command to make a decision on what they're going to do.
But the first job for Case Officer Sergeant Jane Sutcliffe is to reassure Ronald's wife, Kathy, who's understandably devastated.
We may need, she was upset when I spoke to her, so maybe we need to sort of just check on her welfare and maybe give her details of the counsellor.
At Brooklyn Wharf on the Hawkesbury River, the forensic team begins its investigation to identify the body.
At this stage, we'll just say that an unidentified body has been retrieved, and whilst no obvious injuries were detected, the state of decomposition is advanced.
At this stage, personal items found on the body are the only way police will be able to prove whether this man is Michael Varon or not.
Diane, we just got an Audi car key and two other keys, 2 silver keys on that clearing. We might just chuck it in the bag and we'll give it all a wash, I think, before we rebag it. I think that's all it is. I think there's any more there.
Meanwhile, back in the city, Jane is on her way to question Kathy Wilkins, the de facto wife of missing father Ronald Bars.
There's no particular game plan before you get there. You have to kind of work off the person's reactions and how they're responding to the situation.
It's now been 2 days since anyone has seen or heard from Ronald.
Hi, Kathy, is it? Yes. Hi, my name's Jane. This is Darren from the Missing Persons Unit.
In the few days before he disappeared, Ronald hadn't been himself, so Kathy is worried sick.
There was a few little things that he said that were strange during the week. He went into like a crystal shop, which is just, it doesn't go shopping. Yep. And he bought a ring that was supposed to help you sleep and that sort of thing. That's when he got really funny and he said, no, I need to get out of Sydney. He said, and we need to be as far away from Sydney as we can get.
Has he had any history of this before or just...
Nothing. It's just really out of character. Everybody I've spoken to has said it's just not him.
Back on the Hawkesbury, Michael Varon's family has arrived at the scene hoping for any positive news. But because of the condition of the body, police are still not able to confirm to the family if it is their beloved Michael.
What happens now is that we'll very shortly, the government contractors will arrive and convey this person to the coroner's court to confirm the identity of the deceased. And hopefully we'll know more after that time.
For his family, the 8-day search has been difficult enough, but this extra wait for closure is unbearable.
Everyone's very sad, very sombre, just very, very sad and feeling a hell of a lot for the parents, I think.
They're just shattered. I don't know. I just really feel for them and think how they're going to live for the rest of the time now.
The next of kin sister, Rita, has been following everything that's been going on. Obviously, we can't be certain that this person here is her brother, but until the formal identification's carried out, we'll have to leave it at that.
He thinks people are chasing him. He's very, you know, he said to me, I can't come home because I'm a marked man. And he didn't want to die, and he didn't want us to die, so, yes.
Ronald hopped on his bike and just rode off, expecting his family to follow.
And we all sort of sat around once he left and thought, no, if we don't show up, he'll come to his senses and he'll come home. He never came home.
Later that morning, Gary starts his next case. Geraldine, a 45-year-old mother of 4 who's been missing for 3 months.
So she's left her 4 sons.
Are they with the father? Or
She's a single mother. Yeah, the actual father's disappeared sometime ago.
Oh, is he okay then? How old are the 4 sons?
After receiving a tip-off that Geraldine has been seen in Bondi, her older brother Martin reported her missing to police.
As far as I know, she hasn't made any effort to contact them, and no one's heard from her for quite a while. So I thought we'll list her as a missing person. We need to use the support that's out there.
It's been 3 days now, and still no word from missing dad, Ronald Bars.
He doesn't appear to be in any risk of causing himself any self-harm. It's more a fact of him wanting to get away from Sydney.
So Jane has decided to travel to Armidale to join the local police search.
He felt that something was going to happen in the area, and now that he's been missing in the bush for a couple of days, there are obviously grave concerns for his safety.
This is a photo of the missing person that we're looking for, Ronald Bars. He last rang his wife at 3 a.m. on Saturday morning. He left on his motorcycle, which was a road bike. When his bike was located, there was a key, road map, and his helmet was missing.
Police know they don't have a moment to lose.
Our resources, we're going to use New England Lac Police, the SES personnel that are here, and the police air wing will be on site. OK, we'll get cracking.
Since reporting Geraldine missing to police, there have been a number of new sightings. So Martin heads to the beach to see if he can find her himself.
Excuse me, I just asked you a question. I'm just trying to identify someone as a missing person around here. Do you come down here very often? OK, all right, thanks. Excuse me, guys, can I just show you a photo if you've seen this lady around the beach at all in the last... You guys are locals, are you?
No, mate, we're not from here.
OK, all right, thanks a lot. Cheers, thanks.
Meanwhile, back at the missing persons unit, Gary discovers even more evidence that places Geraldine in the Bondi area.
Okay, there's an entry there on the 7th of October. She's pawned 3 items. She's pawned a necklace and 2 pairs of sunglasses.
While Gary looks for more clues on the database, back in Bondi, after spending the day handing out Geraldine's photo, Martin may finally have had some luck.
Question. You haven't seen this girl around, have you, anywhere? It's my sister, actually.
Does look familiar.
Yeah?
Does she look like that now?
Yeah, grey hair, probably fairly about your height, probably medium build. She probably looks older, but it's just got grey hair.
Yes.
Probably about 45.
Well, I come here lots.
Do you?
And I just have the feeling I've seen this lady.
Yeah. If you see her, just say, look, your brother's looking for her, even if you say that. If you see her.
Yes.
All right.
What's your name?
Martin.
It's now been 3 days since Ronald Bars disappeared, and there's now real concern for his safety. So the task force has moved their focus to the farm, where his damaged motorbike was found.
We just moved the trucks over to this location. We'll try to sit the chopper here.
Local farmer Patrick Swanson saw Ronald ride through here 3 days earlier, but didn't realise he'd been reported missing.
Yeah, he got off his hay, said where that truck is.
Yep.
He looked
The
around
farmer
for about a minute.
is their best lead yet.
He rode back along this track and then
ended up right down on the fence line down there.
OK. What we'll do, Jim, we'll wait for the for Polly to arrive.
Meanwhile, hot on the trail of Geraldine, Gary heads off to the Bondi pawnbroker, where she hocked her jewellery.
Hey, how you going? I'm looking for a person who's pawned some stuff here on the 7th of October this year. Geraldine.
Yeah.
You can check your records to see if she's left an address, like a new address.
How do you spell Geraldine? You've got it there?
G-E-R-A-L-D-I-N-E.
Her address? Bega.
OK, it's an old address.
OK.
It's a dead end. But all is not lost.
I'll show you a photo of her, actually.
Yeah. think she's got white hair. She's
like that.
Yeah, no, that's her. Yeah, yeah, that's her.
Police decide the only way of finding Ronald alive in this dense scrub is to carry out an air and land search.
We're going to send the foot soldiers down through this area to the edge of the gorge. It's probably just all this area through here.
Okay. While the search gets underway,
Here's that Kathy.
Jane takes time to update Ronald's anxious wife, Kathy.
Good, how are you? That's fine, I understand. Look, we're here at the property now. We've got a few SES and a few police. We've just sent Polair up to do a bit of a recce of the area we'll be searching. He's left the tarmac, come on the dirt, and it's definitely private property, so he certainly seems to have come here, you know, not so much knowing where he is, but, you know, this is where he was heading for, so... and there's not really any way of getting out of here without, you know, one of the local property people seeing him. Yeah, well, like I said, look, we're heading out, and as soon as we get back in, I'll give you another call and let you know.
The terrain is mostly inaccessible. Police know that if Ronald is lost somewhere in here, the chances of finding him alive are slim indeed.
She came in and we were having a chat, and she said that she sells jewellery down in the Bondi markets. Yeah. So...
Meanwhile, back in Bondi, acting on the information received from the pawnbroker, Gary seeks help from local police. He asks Constables Wright and Orchard to visit the markets and check out if Geraldine is selling her jewellery today.
We're down here today because we've got a missing person. Just wondering if you've ever seen her?
No. She doesn't look like anybody I know.
Name's Geraldine.
I think, yeah. I think so, but I don't know why probably she's just selling clothes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen this.
But after hours of questioning, there is still no sign of Geraldine.
Seen anyone with the description?
In Armidale, time is fast running out.
All right, listen up, guys. We're going to concentrate on this area in here, okay? That fence line there is that fence there, all right?
With only a few hours of daylight remaining,
we might start one crew going this way and one crew going that way. So
police prepare for one final sweep of the area.
Just looking for any signs that Ronald might have been through here. He may have dropped his motorbike helmet. He might have set up a camp overnight, something like that. So any indication really that he's been this way.
We've got a very out of the ordinary incident. We've got a missing person that's travelled on a road bike through a very rugged and hilly terrain, dumped the bike and disappeared off the face of the earth. You know, it's a very bizarre event.
Missing Persons Unit, Gary Melchiori speaking.
Right, this is Martin.
Back at the Missing Persons Unit, Geraldine's brother, Martin, calls Gary with some exciting news.
She saw Geraldine on the beach.
Astrid, the Bondi woman Martin spoke to earlier, has actually met up with Geraldine.
She recognised her straight away.
Yeah.
So, to save time before the lead goes cold, Gary asks a colleague from the local area police to meet with Astrid immediately.
Astrid, is it? I'm Constable Barnett from Waverley. How are you?
Astrid League, nice to meet you.
Whereabouts did you actually see her that time?
I think we met here, just a little bit further on. She was talking to two men, and then I just said, excuse me, but have you got a brother called Martin? And she said, yes, and who are you? And I introduced myself.
Did she give you any indication as to where she might be staying?
I asked her, I said, are you okay? Because obviously they're looking for you. And she said, I said, have you got a place? And she said, yes, I do, I'm okay. And but she started crying at some stage and said that talked about her life a little bit, about the breakup of her marriage and difficulties with bringing up the children. When I said, look, it might be a really good idea if you reach out for help and they are looking for you and ring them. And then she said, I will, you know, it'll take me some time. And then she crossed the road, she went towards here and said she's going to a pottery class in the pavilion.
With nightfall approaching, Polaire makes its last pass of the day. If Ronald Bars is out here, he faces another freezing night in the bush.
Well, we just searched the ridgeline and the sparse areas of vegetation as the commander requested, and found that a lot of the area was pretty much inaccessible to those who'd be walking on foot. If he's walked sort of down off in this direction, he'd find it difficult to make it down to the river and creek line that we searched along.
Back on the ground, Jane's group has spent the day searching 80 hectares on foot, but again, no luck.
Well, we've just done a search of this whole paddock. I think we've covered it pretty thoroughly, but unfortunately, nothing to be seen.
We've searched all the areas that we've assessed and we've turned up nothing. So it is a mystery. We don't like to think the worst, but we're just hopeful that he's made his way out somehow and gained assistance.
Meanwhile, as night approaches in Bondi, Martin is more confident than ever of finding his sister. With renewed hope, he is still showing photos of Geraldine to anyone who'll stop and listen.
For a second. Just looking for a missing person. You haven't seen this girl around the beach, eh? The beach area?
Yeah, I just saw her today.
So
well, she comes in here and has a coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She's just walking straight up there.
Then, in the distance, Geraldine suddenly appears, alive and dancing on the hill. 3 months of searching is over. But in the time it takes Martin to walk up to where he saw her, she's gone
A few
again.
minutes ago. I'm Martin, anyway. What's your name? Dale. How you going, Dale? All right. I'm her big brother, so I'm just wanting to know that we still love her and if she's okay, that's good. If she's happy.
Martin now knows just how close he is.
Yeah, they knew her, yeah. The two guys I was talking to, and she was there with them. But it was her, so they knew her name.
But in Armidale, the search for Ronald Bars is called off.
Hello. Hi, Kathy, it's Jane Sutcliffe. I'm afraid I haven't got any good news for you. We did a very thorough search of the property that the bike was located on, but unfortunately there was no sign anywhere.
Oh. Where could he possibly be?
Yeah, I really don't know what to tell you. Just personal opinion, I reckon he's out there somewhere out in the bush. There's, cliffs and gorges and all sorts of things, and if he's fallen over and injured himself or if he, just wants to go out and stay out there, then could be that, he'll never be found.
I just want to make an appeal, Ron. If you're watching this, please come home. We really need you. If anybody has seen him, please contact the police so that we can get him home and get him safe. We don't know what's happening, but we both need him home really quickly. Thank you.
Martin is now unsure whether his sister Geraldine ran off because she saw him.
So I don't know if she spotted me. I don't think she did. And so that's probably in my favour. If she hasn't seen me, they'll have left a message for her. That might set her off again. She might, might want to talk to me. Well, that's her choice. We can't do anything about that, but just as long as we know she's safe, I guess, and that she knows we're still, caring, supporting and willing to help her if she needs us. Then the next step then is to make sure the boys have got enough support too. So it's sort of a twofold thing, isn't it?
But police soon ring him with some good news.
Excuse me, can I ask you a
Truth
question?
is, not long after he saw his sister on the hill, she went to Bondi Police Station and now has agreed to meet him. While this case has a happy ending, it's devastating news for the family of Michael Varon.
Sadly for the family of Michael Varon, the body that was located at the Hawkesbury River was identified as their son at the morgue. Hopefully now it's given the family some closure.
Over 30 new cases reported just from the day before.
You got a 70-year-old female been reported by her husband.
For Sergeant Jane Sutcliffe, there's no time to lose. She's been handed the case of a 70-year-old woman with dementia who walked out the front door and vanished.
Darren, you've got a case from Victoria, Veronica Green.
Senior Constable Darren Connerbeer has been assigned the Victorian case of Mum Veronica Green, missing for 30 years.
Jane, I believe there's information in relation to Ronald Barr.
In the ongoing case of missing husband Ronald Barr's, there's been a new development. Last week, police visited Kathy Wilkins, who was devastated when her husband Ronald disappeared.
He never came home.
A massive air and land search in the Armidale area has failed to find Ronald.
We've searched all the areas that we've assessed and we've turned up nothing.
So, with the search called off, Jane broke the bad news to Kathy.
Where could he possibly be?
I really don't know what to tell you. If he's fallen over and injured himself, or if he, just wants to go out and stay out there, then could be that, he'll never be found, so.
But this morning,
Wow.
there's finally
Excellent.
some good news for the Barrs family.
I received a phone call this morning from Armidale Police to say that Mr Barrs has been located on a property about 32 kilometres out of Armidale.
Ronald may have been located, but all is not as it seems.
Obviously, our concerns about his mental state, so...
Yeah.
Good morning, Jindabyne, is it?
In the case of runaway mum Veronica Green, Darren has been asked by the Victorian Police to help follow up a new lead that places Veronica in New South Wales.
It's very common for the different states to liaise with each other, particularly in terms of when we're trying to track down the long-term missing cases. There's been information received that this Veronica Green could actually be either in Jindabyne, Jerilderie or Jamberoo.
While the lead
So
is
that's why
still
we've knocked up
hot,
this poster.
Darren decides to send a new missing persons poster of Veronica to Jindabyne Police for immediate
and then
release.
sort of pass it around some of the more prominent locals there to see whether they recognise her at all.
Later that morning, Jane and Ronald's wife, Kathy, leave for Armidale Hospital to meet up with her missing husband.
When she first rang and said that they had found him, of course I was very stressed. It's good knowing that he's fine, but it's very hard to get it through your head that everything's fine and it's finished and it's all over.
By the time Jane and Kathy arrive in Armidale, the news is not good. Ronald's been moved to a psychiatric hospital 120 kilometres south in Tamworth.
Feeling a little bit sick in the tummy, just sort of not knowing, I have been in mental units before with work, and knowing sort of what they're like, it was a little bit off-putting when you know it's one of your own, one of your close people, so it's a bit hard.
Meanwhile, back in Victoria, its missing persons unit has over 400 long-term cases they're investigating. And Senior Constable Helen Nugent has spent years trying to solve one of them. Missing mum, Veronica Green.
This is the original report that was filled out on the 15th of the 2nd, 1976 at 11 a.m. Although there's many, many missing persons, there's some, I suppose, jump out at you and grab you, and you don't try more on one than you do another. But this one certainly got my heart, I suppose.
There's you, look at that.
This case is special for Helen because when Veronica disappeared 30 years ago, she also left behind two young daughters.
Susan and Penny.
They've spent years working closely with Helen, trying to find their mum.
We came across a photo yesterday when Penny and I were looking at some photos, and we didn't even think of this one, but I reckon that this one is probably the most recent of Mum. And I'm thinking if we could even get that up at Truck City in Campbellfield, because that's where they used to go.
On the way to Tamworth, Kathy's fears are growing by the minute.
I don't think he'll be very happy that I've involved the police, but hopefully he'll understand that that was the only way that we could try and find him. So I am a little bit apprehensive about how he'll react.
Only a face-to-face meeting with her husband will determine how he feels about seeing the woman he walked out on.
I mean, we've been together for 19 years. It's a long relationship, and yeah, you sort of see these things with other people and go, oh, poor things, but you don't realise, you know, how upsetting and how traumatic it is until it's yourself going through it.
That's really old. I think that was even before.
Today is the 30th anniversary of Veronica Green's disappearance, and all these years on, Jackie and Penny still relive the day their mum left.
Mum didn't look too happy in that one.
Jackie was only 7 years old. Her sister Penny, just 14, when their mum vanished.
The night before she left, I did my little prayer and then jumped into bed, and she would always just tuck me in.
Jacky's memory of that gut-wrenching moment has haunted her every day since.
I'd had a dream that, two nights previous that that she left, and so I thought I'd ask her, Mummy, would you ever leave us? And she said, of course. Of course. And she said, don't be so silly. And she never finished tucking me in, you know, and she walked out the door so fast. And the next day that was it.
Back in Tamworth, Kathy's meeting with husband Ronald in the psychiatric ward has been a traumatic reunion.
Very emotional. I just burst into tears because I thought, well, yeah, he's okay. You know, I think it finally set in that, yes, he's okay. I couldn't get that through my head last night. I hadn't slept very much, and just seeing him was very emotional, but he's fine. So it was the best outcome we could have asked for.
In Melbourne, 30 years after Veronica vanished, her disappearance is still a complete mystery for her daughters.
On the day Veronica went missing, she's went to work, she's said goodbye to her colleagues at the train station, and that's the last anybody saw of her.
That must have been so incredibly difficult for her. Like, as a mum, I can't imagine how hard that must have been. And from reports, we were told that she cried all day. She cried all day at work.
But Penny was older when her mum ran away and remembers a lot more.
I do remember conversations where Dad would say, you know, in their heated arguments, if you ever leave, don't ever take those children because I will find you. I actually remember once I just stood up and I said to him, you know, if it wasn't for you, we'd still have a mother, you know?
Back in Sydney, Jane has begun checking leads on her new case, Yvonne Rubin, a missing 70-year-old grandmother who suffers from dementia.
She was reported missing by her husband, and she was last seen at 5:45 p.m. Last Saturday.
Yvonne walked out of her front door 2 days ago and hasn't been seen since.
Nick speaking.
Yeah, hi, my name's Jane Sutcliffe from the Police Missing Persons
Nick
Unit.
Rubin, Yvonne's son, has been searching for his mum ever since.
Your mother who's gone missing? Where are you at the moment? Are you just in the local area?
No, I'm down the back of the War Veterans Home, just scouting the boundary and just checking all the nooks and crannies out on the edge of the bush.
Okay, so you've been having a good look around there.
We have been for 2 days. We've just been going backwards and forwards, you know, so we'll be around.
Yeah, okay.
No worries.
Okay, I'll give you a call a bit later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
Meanwhile, in Melbourne, Helen Nugent pays another visit to Jackie and Penny to question them about the new developments in the 30-year-old case of their missing mum. After years of working together to find Veronica, their closeness is obvious.
When people see a program like this and they think, I saw that person, and you never know, maybe we'll get that one phone call for us.
In Sydney, on the trail of missing grandmother Yvonne Rubin, Jane and Pat are off to question her husband, the last person to have seen Yvonne 2 days ago.
My name's Jane Sutcliffe from Missing Persons Unit. This is Pat.
How are you?
So she hadn't told you anything about going out for a walk or anything like that? And she didn't have anything with her, just what she was wearing?
She had no bag, well, as far as I know, she had no money or anything on her. And I was in the backyard, and then all of a sudden, I turned around and she got the side gate open. By the time I locked the dog up, I couldn't see which way she went, downhill or uphill. Disappeared.
Yvonne has been the love of Nick's life for over 50 years. But since the onset of her dementia, she's become increasingly confused.
Nothing wrong with her physically and that, but it's only the, as I said, you know, the sickness that she's got, you know. Put a conversation to her and say anything that happened, say 10 years ago or earlier, she's there, you know. But anything, say, if I was to ask her, say, you know, what she had for breakfast yesterday, I couldn't answer. If it could be cured, I'll give the house away for, you know, if she could have, you know, become good the way she used to be.
Over the years, family members claim to have seen Veronica on a number of occasions, and always with the same man, a truck driver.
We only know Mum's partner to be Steve-O, and that he apparently left his family at about the same time as Mum left us. I think that Mum was so desperate to perhaps escape what she was going through that if there was someone willing to step up and give her a hand in doing that that was completely removed from the family, then I'm sure that, you know, that she probably would have taken that.
It's now been over 2 days since Yvonne wandered off, and the worry is certainly taking its toll on her husband.
I crossed my arms up here on the table, I slept for about an hour. The night before, didn't sleep a wink, didn't want to go to bed. I just stayed in the dirty clothes as I was. You know, just hoping she returns, you know, or get some news from the police, whether they see her somewhere or somebody sees and reports it that, you know, they've seen her. And nothing happened nowhere. Yeah.
She's a 70-year-old woman with dementia. It would be tough for anyone to survive out there in the bush, and if she's not found soon, then it may be too late.
Sydney grandmother Yvonne Rubin has been missing for almost 3 days. A 70-year-old lady with dementia. Naturally, the fears for her safety are growing. So local police hold an urgent briefing.
There's been some search for her conducted on Saturday night initially, and then again on Sunday, and that search included pole air.
They've been searching in the air and on the ground, and it's not going well.
The police dog has indicated that there is no scent. The son of the missing person spoke to a resident who believes that she spoke to the missing person on Saturday night. They had an argument about the missing person picking flowers of the informant.
And that's exactly where they head to next, where Yvonne was last seen picking the flowers.
It hugs Narrabeen Lake.
Yep.
Maybe we just want to head down there and start from there.
We'll meet you up there.
Okay.
While police begin their search of the trails in New South Wales, in Melbourne, on her own trail, Helen now realises she may be looking for a woman who just doesn't want to be found.
You know, if you were driving on trucks and you were travelling interstate, you would be harder to track, harder to find. And she always said that if I go, no one will ever find me. I don't think she is Veronica Green or Veronica Medcraft anymore, and that's, you know, if only we had a name.
30 years ago, you could become anybody you wanted to be. And now, how many names has this woman taken on? And that's one of the things that I look at when I make my inquiries. I do them all in her maiden name, any other name that she may have used at any time. So I might send off for a birth certificate in New South Wales and request it under 5 different names.
Perhaps my mum's watching this.
We'll see what we can do for you, for both of you.
With the trail bike search underway, Jane returns to the Reuben home to speak with Yvonne's son, Nick.
Nick, is it?
Yep.
Nick's
Hi,
just
Jane. Spoke to you on the
returned
phone.
after searching the area himself.
Oh, we've just been around the bottom of this track.
Yep.
Any steep crevices, checking under rocks.
Okay, so you've done a pretty thorough search.
Yeah, and checking those areas out and just speaking to some people that are on the back area there, whether they've actually noticed her. We come up with one lady that did because she was picking her flowers and they had a bit of an argument. And yeah, so we've putting things together of, you know, where she was at certain times of the day. And
It's been a couple of nights that she's been out there.
dementia, it's a bit of a worry in a sense. You know, like 1 minute she might be good, next minute she mightn't even know what a tap is to have a drink. So that's where we are.
Just
as Helen prepares to leave, Jackie drops a bombshell.
Apparently,
She's just heard that her mum may have had a baby boy over 30 years ago who could have been adopted out.
My auntie and my mum were fairly close, and she often says that mum agonised over giving her boy up.
If Penny and Jackie can find a brother, it may be the best chance yet of finding their mum.
That perhaps she may have contacted him, and there may be a connection there.
Jackie thinks her mum Veronica had the baby in Sydney.
So I do suggest you could keep going down that track.
After talking with Yvonne's son Nick, Jane and Pat head to the local shops to see if anyone has spotted her.
I'm just wondering if you've seen this lady. She's a missing person. She's been missing since Saturday. She's last seen around this area.
I'm sorry, no, I haven't.
I'm just wondering if you've seen this woman around at all. She went missing on Saturday night. She suffers from dementia. She apparently frequents the shopping area.
No, sorry, I haven't seen her at all.
Oh, I'm just looking for a missing person in the area. I'm just wondering if you've seen her. She went missing
With no luck at the
Saturday night.
shops, the best hope now is that the helicopter search planned later that evening will find Yvonne.
Yeah, Darren, it's Helen from Melbourne's missing person. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Very good to hear.
Speaking with Jackie, she's giving me a date of birth of perhaps a son that was born to her.
What would the possibility be of...
If I could perhaps send you through a request for a birth certificate for children born to Veronica.
Helen believes that Veronica gave birth to a son in New South Wales. So Darren is now asked to assist.
I'll make sure I put that on there.
OK, bye for now.
Hopefully the information comes back that she has. This is one of the strongest leads for the daughters. Hopefully it'll help the daughters actually find their mother.
Oh, gee, if I could just see her again and that would just make my world complete. You know, I don't feel like my life's complete.
30 years of tears may finally be wiped away if Darren's search for Jackie's missing brother is successful.
I just want to know how you got on with that birth, deaths and marriages check for me for Veronica Green.
OK, contacted Birth, Deaths and Marriages. They ran a check on her, found that she did in fact have a child, but there's only going to be one problem. That child was adopted.
Veronica Green did give birth to a child in 1959, so that's obviously a bit of positive news. It's probably going to come as a bolt out of the blue for her daughters, because now they're going to have a whole new, fresh range of emotions that are going to be dragged up. All of a sudden they're going to realise that they have a brother out there somewhere as well as a missing mother.
Jane has spent the last few days searching for 70-year-old Yvonne Reuben with no luck. But then an unexpected call regarding her other case, missing man Ronald Bars, makes her day.
Since we're in Armidale, Ronald's been released from hospital in Tamworth and Kathy has taken him home. So we're just on the way now to see them both at home and just check that Kathy's all right and Ronald's recovered.
Hi, how are you?
Good, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It's been a bit of an adventure.
Yes, it has been actually.
Must be good to have him home.
It is, yeah. Feeling much more relieved now.
Yeah.
Just trying to get him back to normal and get all his wounds and everything.
Kathy can't believe what her husband has been through.
The road just narrowed down to like a goat track. And I thought, this is not right. And it threw me off and burnt my leg. I must knock myself out. And when I come back to, it took me 2 days to get out.
So what did you do at night? Did you have matches for a fire or anything?
No, I had no matches, no nothing. I just found a rock and sheltered under it. Just sort of curled up like that and because I didn't have a shirt on.
Right, okay.
All I had was a pair of shorts and my boots. So I was just curled up like in a ball like that.
Yeah.
She ruined.
So the farmer will probably find his shirt there. He's still a little bit vague. He's still sort of saying to me that he was just going to visit his sister. And I thought, well, I guess we'll sort of get more out of him as we talk. But yeah, but physically he's really good.
Well, thank you all for your help.
Oh,
yeah,
much
a pleasure.
Appreciate.
Yeah, no.
And I want to thank you too, because you guys have just been so supportive through all this. It was good to know that I had support.
As one case closes for Jane, across town, another has reached a critical point. After 3 long days, grandmother Yvonne Rubin is still missing. So Jane has organised for Pol Air to make one final search for the 70-year-old.
We're heading out towards Narrabeen Lake. We're transiting up to the north of Sydney, heading that way right now.
Pol Air is using its thermal imaging camera to look for Yvonne. It can literally see in the dark.
You can see the silver area is Narrabeen Lakes. The darker area is the bushland. We're looking for heat sources. This equipment is fairly sophisticated, picks up temperature differentials between the types of terrain. We've got some heat sources there that are rocks. Yeah, this area is fairly dense foliage, and if someone's hiding down there or fallen down a crevice or something like that, they're going to be very hard to find. Unfortunately, at this stage, we haven't had any positive sign of a body, or whether alive or dead.
If she is down there and not found tonight, there's every chance this elderly lady won't survive a 3rd night in the bush.
Yvonne, darling, I love you. A place to come home. We're looking for you. We've been searching for you for 2 days. Police is searching. The buses are searching. The taxis are searching. Everybody in the neighbourhood is looking for you. So please come home.
Happy birthday to me.
Back in Melbourne, Jackie celebrates another birthday. But ever since her mum left, no birthday has ever been the same.
My birthday was always the time of the year that Mum went, so it was always not necessarily celebrated but commiserated.
But with every new lead also comes renewed hope of finding Veronica.
Yeah, I mean, just sitting here then, it was quite surreal because I felt like I could really, I feel like I can really celebrate this birthday.
The 12-year-old grandson, Josh, today is also another sad birthday without his gran.
Everyone else has a grandma, and we don't have anyone to look up to or anything, like to go and have fun at like their house, right? I don't know.
It's just a little bit missing, isn't there?
Yes.
Eh? There's that piece missing. That's all right. One day, baby. Yes. It was my fault. It was my fault. And I'm sorry. We weren't that close. I mean, to have memories of us fighting as my last memories of you, it's been really bad, and I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I love you so much.